come your way once again. This is Mr. Ela, and I'm coming your way with advertising media planning. And I want to treat with you a special topic entitled the format for creating the media plan. The media plan is basically a guide for devising or creating your media strategy. And it is essential for every campaign to consider the media strategy. So I'm just going to take you through the format, and I want to mention the items or the factors that you need to consider for the format. There are about 8 factors. The first one is situation analysis and background of the marketing situation. And then you need also the marketing problem, which is the second one. The third one is the marketing objectives. The fourth one, advertising objectives. The fifth one, media objectives. And then we'll look at the media strategy, which is supposed to be the 6th point. Now, there's a relationship between the media objectives and the media strategy. And it is so because what you determine to do or you want to achieve is dependent on the strategy you set up. The strategy here is also tactics, or the media tactics you will develop to be able to help you to achieve your objectives or your goals. And then we'll look at last but one point, which is monitoring and evaluation. And then finally, we'll look at the checklist. So these are the 8 points I want to take you through. Great. So let's take each point and try to understand what matters in each of the 8 points we mentioned in the format. The first one is situation analysis and background. And we want to first look at a product like a liquid soap. And we want to name it Awula liquid soap. And it's a dishwashing detergent. And it's being produced by a company known as Awula Company Limited. Now, we want to use this as a simulation, not to mention any proper or existing brand, but just for the purpose of the lesson, to help us to understand, we'll just be using Awula for the study. Now, the situation analysis for Awula liquid soap, for instance, means that we have to look at the stand of the product, where it stands now, the market share and all that. So in case the market share of the product has dropped from, let's say, 15% to 10%, then your client, which is Awula Cosmetics Limited, would want to probably do a campaign. And what would be the marketing strategy for such a campaign? To bring the product out of such a problem, ensuring that they're able to, regain their market share and even increase it. A few examples of the marketing problem may be that the product has become old-fashioned in the market because the packaging is old, it looks outdated, and then again there are competitors who have come with new variants looking more appealing, more attractive. So then the product is likely to be facing the problem like this on the market. It has also lost contemporary relevance, and therefore people are not choosing it. So it may be that Awula liquid soap is suffering from all of these market problems. And of course, it's the consumer who determines what he wants, and if it's not attractive, they will not pick it. The other thing is that after you have identified the problems, you have to also identify or set your media objectives, which is the goal. And I have to say that every media objective you set must be dependent on the problem that you want to solve. So having listed or mentioned some of the problems on the market, for example, old-fashioned, outdated packaging, the product has lost contemporary relevance, then we have to set objectives that will be able to meet these problems and solve these problems. So let's look at each one of them. The marketing or the media objectives that we'll set to help offset the marketing problem are as follows. Number 1, we can do a direct media weight to those homemakers most likely to be important targets. Homemakers are our target audience, and we need to identify them in this instance. Who are homemakers? Homemakers are usually supposed to be people who would stay home most of the time. We normally call them, in quotes, housewives, and we expect that they will be doing the home chores all the time. And when it comes to dishwashing and others, they would want detergents that would be more gentle, mild, and will not give them skin irritations. So we would want to promote the product to such people, and in terms of age bracket, we would want to maybe look at people between the ages of 35 to, let's say, 49. They are not high income earners, they are not well educated, maybe they are mostly women who may not be regarded as independent women, may not be regarded as sophisticated women, but just normal women who have also large households. So let's say that is our target audience, which is age 35, women between the ages of 35 to 49. Now, another group we may want to look at is young ladies between the ages of 18 to 34, because they are also people who would like to do dishwashing and use such detergents which are mild and will not give them skin irritations. So such people would also be considered as maybe educated, hardworking, they are employed. So it is important that we identify our target audience when it comes to the media objectives and set the objectives to meet what the target requires or what will solve the marketing problem which already has been identified. Now, another media objective which we can talk about is to efficiently deliver impressions to the medium and heavy users of light detergent liquids. And we want to do this on a national basis. So if you want to do this on a national basis, then which medium would you want to use? We'll look at the mediums later on in the media strategy. Another example of a media objective that we can use is to use selected mediums to achieve immediate levels of reach and awareness of reformulation of the product and trial of the product. That means we have to give some attention to national broadcast and target these women that I have mentioned already and give them the opportunity to try the product as we also create awareness among that group. So these are some of the objectives that we can outline in our media objective to help us build a strategy for our media strategy. Great. So I'll continue by saying that we need to look at media strategy specifically. Having defined our media objectives, we also need to now look at the strategy, the tactics. What will be the marketing activity? What will be the media activity? How are you going to engage the media to ensure that you meet the media objectives and solve the marketing problems and then all that. Before we do that, we need to also identify our advertising objective. And we want to create advertising objectives that will help bring the product out of the old-fashioned concept or idea or perception that the women have about it. So let's give our women a cared-for hands product. We want to convince women that Awula liquid soap is a superlative, mild dishwashing liquid. So if it's superlative, then it means it's unrivaled, unmatched. Nobody can, dispute its mildness, the gentle feel it gives to the fingers when you have to wash hands. It's different from automatic dishwashing detergents, which are stronger and can clean the dishes or the plates for you in just a few minutes, and that's it. So we want to set these as the advertising objectives. Maybe a last one that we can add is to also make the advert more feminine and more attractive to the women in the age brackets that we have already identified.